Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. On this channel, we cut through the hype and the noise and we give you the non-biased information you can use to hopefully capitalize on the next bull run. And guys, I believe the bull run has kicked off as far as Bitcoin. Now, I'm not convinced it has kicked off a altcoin season, but that's kind of what this conversation is about. And I just want to bring something to your attention, and hopefully you can just weigh it out. And it's about Blackrock spot ETF and the spot ETF in general. And something was brought to my attention this morning, and so I went down the rabbit hole to verify it, and it kind of got me thinking that I may be missing the boat or have the wrong perspective about the timing of that spot ETF. And that's what I want to talk about. And this was all kicked off by another video, and I want to give a shout out to the Crypto Crew University, because he created a video and it was titled "It's Such BS. They're Lying to You About Blackrock ETF." Got my attention and I started watching that video. So that's what we're going to dive into, guys, because I really think it's important to try to figure out where we are in this new cycle. A lot of people are calling the bull run has already started. We'll talk about that throughout this video. But either way, guys, it's early and a lot can happen between now and the halving. And if you're like me, I don't want to jump in with my dry powder and end up getting a 20-30% pullback, and not only being down in my portfolio, I spent my dry powder. So that's kind of what this is all about. And we're going to talk about the ETF, because guys, that's what's moving this market, and it's really important that we talk about it and hopefully get it right. And we'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart, but more importantly, at the end of this video, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin dominance. That is the number one tool that I use in trying to figure out when I want to start stacking more altcoins for the altcoin season. So that being said, guys, hit that like button and let's get started. Now, like I said, I watched his video at the Crypto Crew University. I follow him. He's been around for a long time. I think he's been pretty successful in crypto. I don't watch a lot of his videos, but this one caught my attention, and I'll leave a link down below if you want to watch it. Because, guys, he nailed it. Now, basically, I'll just tell you what he said, and feel free to watch his video because it was great. And long story short, he says, look, guys, I was around in 2017, 2020, 21. This is my third cycle. And he said they have been pumping the spot ETF news from 2017. And he shows the chart how they hype it up, and when the hype gets the highest, the bull run's pretty much over with. A dump and a big pullback starts. And think about it, like he says in his video, this is the most hype he's seen this fast, and look at what it's done to the charts. It has pumped Bitcoin. So that kind of opened my eyes, and guys, I don't know him well enough to not verify, and to be honest, there's only about 4 influencers across the internet that I don't have to verify their information, because I trust them that much, because they don't hype up projects, they don't lie, they don't always get it right, sometimes they get it wrong, but their intent is good, and they don't tell you misinformation just to hype up a project and get you coming back to their channel. Now, I think he's going to end up being in that category long term for me because of this video. So that being said, I went down the rabbit hole and I verified everything, guys, and he nailed it. As you can see here, 2017, they're pumping up the spot ETF announcement, and there's multiple articles. This is 2020. They're pumping up multiple. This is 2018. They're pumping up multiple articles. Look at that. Bitcoin ETF approval. That's what they were talking about in the article. Check this out, guys. This shows the hype and the craziness. Now, if you also notice, the last two articles were mainstream media. Who controls mainstream media? They will tell you anything that, say, Blackrock, JP Morgan, or the government wants them to say. And there's normally a reason why they're hyping something. Now, check this article out. This article just came out August 30th. And it says, these are the high-profile spot Bitcoin ETF applications currently in play. Because we know they're hyping it right now. But look how I found this article, guys, and what it says. This is how I found it in Google. But look what it says, guys. This article was originally published in October 2021. Basically, they are repeating the hype of old news, guys. 2-year-old news, and they're bringing it back. And anyway, guys, he nailed the timeline. Now, as you know, this year, Bitcoin took off with real merit, and we had a pretty good run. But Bitcoin was starting to come back down to like 25,000, and it looked like it might go test 20 or maybe make a new low. Who knows? Just what, 5-6 weeks ago. But then we had that fake news come out of nowhere. ETF, spot ETF has announced, and it started pumping. Huge green candle. Well, Bitcoin immediately retraced, and it fell back because we found out that was just fake news. But right after that, we got more announcements from BlackRock. We heard stuff come out of the SEC, and as you can see on the screen, multiple articles almost every day talking about BlackRock or the spot ETF in general. So that being said, guys, I just want you to weigh that out, because I'll be honest, I was under the impression that this spot ETF could come at any time, and it can. But now that I really think about it and spent hours thinking about it and going down the rabbit hole, my guess is they are just pumping Bitcoin before the halving, because historically we get a pretty good rise and it pulls back. And I'm guessing all this hype is giving the institutions some liquidity to take some profits and buy back lower, which is the big boy game that I saw back in the days when I used to work for Bear Stearns. Some things never change. So where I stand now, yes, spot ETF could come out in the morning. It could definitely come out before the year's out. And a lot of people were calling for it for the first of the year, like January, I think the 10th. And then, you know, a few people are even calling for this month. And none of that would shock me. But as I think about it, it's probably going to come out when we least expect it, and when it will benefit like BlackRock and corporate America or the banks or Wall Street, whoever. It will benefit them way more than us, and will probably catch us off guard. And my guess is, if this pump is not real and that spot ETF doesn't come out in the next month or two and the hype goes down, a lot of people are going to dump, and we could see a pretty big pullback. Hey, I hope that's what it does. I hope Bitcoin goes down as hard as humanly possible between now and the halving. It just makes investing easier, because every day that Bitcoin goes up, it makes it more risky to jump in. So I love jumping in on the bad down days. I hope we get capitulation personally. Anyway, I just want you to think about that, guys, because the spot ETF is not guaranteed like I thought before I went down this rabbit hole. I do think, though, however, it is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. Now, if you look at this chart, guys, I find it hard to believe with this pump right here that Bitcoin is not going to at least come back to the 31, 32,000 and at least test that range before the year's out. I could be wrong. It could just take off, who knows. But I'd have to say that I think in the next couple of weeks we're probably going to start going sideways and at least come down to this old resistance, which is now support. And it wouldn't shock me if we got down in here, which would be 25,000-ish, and that would probably be the low that we're ever going to see Bitcoin again, unless we have a black swan event. And definitely, once that spot ETF happens, it is game on forever, guys. Here's my take on that, and I could be wrong. I believe no matter how this pans out of what we have been talking about in this video, when that Bitcoin spot ETF announcement comes out and it's approved, I believe Bitcoin will pump probably another $8,000, maybe $12,000 that day or 1 or 2 days shortly after that. However, it will pull back hard. I truly believe that wherever it's at, it will probably pull back to this $30,000, $32,000 range, even if it's at $45,000. Now, that being said, and I want to be extremely clear because I will be loading the boat and I will be swing trading and stacking pretty much every single day. Once that happens, guys, whether you know it or not, I used to work for Bear Stearns, and then I was a futures and options trader. I've been around big hedge fund managers, all the big boys I've been behind the scenes. And what that's going to look like once that spot ETF is announced, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Fidelity, everybody, every major player is going to be picking up their phone, calling their bag with a sexy story about this new project called Bitcoin. And it's going to be the easiest sell ever for stockbrokers and financial planners. They're just going to be able to call their customers, and the customers are going to have heard about it, which, like Larry Fink said, his customers were already asking for Bitcoin, and that's why they applied for the spot ETF. It's going to be an easy sale, guys, and you got to think. Let's just use BlackRock and JP Morgan. BlackRock has 11 trillion under management. JP Morgan has more than that. I think JP Morgan has like 39 trillion of assets and the value of their business. I don't know how all that lays out, but they're both massive, guys. And all they're going to do is call their customers. Imagine someone with 10 million, 50 million, 100 million dollars at JP Morgan. Those brokers are going to pick up the phone and say, hey, Mr. Johnson, I was looking at your portfolio. There's this new product that's going to help you to diversify. Not to mention it's the number one performing asset in the last 10 years. It was probably the number one performing asset in 2023. I haven't verified that, but it's going to be a sexy story. And the guys, I want you to think about this, guys, because this is important. Imagine if you've got $50 million at BlackRock or JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or wherever. You trust them to manage that money. So when they call you and say, hey, you need to put 2, 3, 5% of your money in this new project, this new asset class called Bitcoin and crypto, they're going to say do it. Now, some of them might say, look, I'm not going to write you a check for 3 million or 5 million, whichever, which is a small percent of their portfolio, because maybe they're not liquid or they're not that bullish. But they'll just say, hey, transfer my Walmart stock or my bonds that are coming due or whatever. Either way, guys, it is going to absolutely change the game. And I'm here to tell you guys, millionaires around the world are going to want a Bitcoin just out of ego. Billionaires are going to want more than one. The families over in like Dubai, guys, Bitcoin could go absolutely crazy. That is not a lie. But either way, I truly believe if it happens in this bull run, you'll never, ever, ever see a $25,000 Bitcoin. And I could personally see Bitcoin in 2025 running up to all the way up to maybe $250,000. Who knows? But it could pull back, but the days of that pulling back like 85, 90%, that's not going to happen once that spot ETF has been announced. I truly believe that, and I definitely will be betting on it. Now, I know I'm rambling, guys, but let's look at the Bitcoin dominance. It's going down. And it's easy to look at that chart and go, hey, check that out, man. It's going down. Well, let's look at all of it. That's the daily, that's the weekly. It's getting down there. But let's look at the monthly. That's a perfect come down to where it should be. Perfect pullback. Look at this 6 months. Guys, that's just a small pullback in the big picture. Look at the year to date, guys. That's nothing. It could easily pull back down to, say, 51 and a half and still be an uptrend. So, guys, I'm not too eager for me to deploy my dry powder. That being said, guys, we are getting close. I would say in the next week or two, we should know for sure if altcoin season has started and the bull run has started. But I want to be clear. I believe Bitcoin's bull run is here. I will be extremely shocked if anyone ever gets to pick up another Bitcoin under the bottom, which is like 15.8 of this bear cycle. I don't think it's going to happen even with the black swan event. That being said, if we have a black swan event and Bitcoin even goes down to say 25 or 20 and test those lows, altcoins will absolutely fall apart. Some of them will have capitulation. That's when I'm going to load the boat. Now, guys, I'm not here to try to pick the bottom. If we have capitulation, I have two handfuls of projects I will start dollar cost averaging in immediately or absolutely load the boat. That's why I don't want to spend my dry powder. I've already made that mistake once. Because here's the deal, guys, and you think about it. If you FOMO in right now into an altcoin like Render or Injective, which I love those projects, and they pull back 20 or 30%, now you're down 20 or 30%, but you also spent your dry powder. So I want to get it right. And Bitcoin dominance is going to tell us when it's go time. And historically, guys, you got Bitcoin leading the way. The big money starts to take profits from Bitcoin, roll it into Ethereum. Ethereum will start to take off, which it hasn't moved to basically compared to Bitcoin. And then after Ethereum takes off, it'll start to roll into your blue chip type projects like Quant and Matic and I think even your projects like Gala will start to take off. But for the most part, guys, I think we have a lot of sideways consolidation before the majority of altcoins take off. And once we start to see that consolidation and we start to see Bitcoin dominance flip, and whatever altcoin you're looking at, like let's just say HBAR, if you watch my channel, you know I'm a big HBAR fan. If HBAR starts to go up from 5 cents to like 6, 7 cents and Bitcoin starts to pull back, it's time to load the boat because it's game on. Anyway, guys, that's just something to think about. That's my perspective. And look, guys, a lot of people in crypto, which blows me away, anytime you give both sides of the story, they start calling it FUD. And I'm here to tell you guys, I don't know any wealthy people that don't want to talk about the downside or the risk more than the upside. Guys, when this bull run takes off, we're going to know it. We're not going to be debating it. We're all going to be 100% in agreement. So I'm just here to get you thinking so that, you know, and weighing everything out so that you don't spend all your dry powder and you FOMO in. Because, guys, if you think about it, you could have bought any of these projects all the way down all year and all last year. Because almost every pump, except for the exceptions, you know, look what XRP did. The biggest announcement in 2023, in my opinion, bar none, XRP pumped and it gave every bit of it back. And that's not really a reflection of XRP. That's pretty much every project except for the extremely strong projects like Singularity, DAO, Injective, and Caspa, and a handful others. But most of them, guys, I believe, haven't finished making new lows for this bull run, and I hope I'm right. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Hit that like button, share with like-minded people, and either way, guys, subscribe and come back and be part of this community, because we are going to be here to hopefully capitalize on the biggest opportunity in history. And guys, this bull run could be the longest lasting, biggest bull run of Bitcoin's history, of the likes that the world has never seen. I can't be more bullish, but I'm not quite all in across the board on crypto quite yet. Anyway, guys, that's all I got. Let me know what you think. Take care.